Installing Linux is way easier than you think. In the next few minutes, I will take you from zero to fully running Linux, even if you've never touched it before. Hi everyone, this is Ben. Today I'm going to show you how to install Linux from scratch, step by step, beginner friendly, and without any confusing jargon. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe if you are new, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and follow me for more future content. So, before we jump in, you're probably saying, what actually is Linux? Well, Linux is an operating system, like Windows or Mac OS, but it's open source, which is just as good as it sounds. This means that anyone can improve it, customize it, or even build their own version of it. It is fast, secure, stable, and completely free. Now, Linux shows up in way more places than people may realize. If you are on a network of a social media site, chances are that's running under Linux. If you've ever used an Android phone, technically you've used Linux before, but here's the catch. Android uses the Linux kernel, not the full desktop experience. It's kind of like saying a motorcycle and semi-truck are the same because they have wheels. Technically true, but definitely not the same experience. Alright, now that you guys know what Linux actually is, let's get it installed. So, all you are going to need is a USB stick. Must be 8 gigabytes or more. I'm using an 128 gigabyte for this tutorial. We are going to need, obviously, a computer, whether that's desktop or laptop, and an internet connection. Wired or wireless works perfect. We have just entered step 1 of the tutorial. Step 1 was download Linux. We're going to be using Ubuntu since it is stable, very beginner friendly, and everything works out of the box with little to no manual operations required to get everything up and running. So head to ubuntu.com, that's ubuntu.com, and download the latest LTS version. I already have the window popped up, so this is what your page should look like. It should look something like this. If you're here, then congratulations, you are almost done the first step. So, we're just gonna click on the latest LTS version, which is 24.04.4. Depending on when you're watching this video, it could be updated, but right now, if you watch this video on the first day that it came out, you're going to download this version. Now we just wait for it to install. So it should take about 4 or 5 minutes. I'll be back when it's installed. Okay, so my Ubuntu is now installed. As you can see, we got this file. It's called an ISO disk image file. Despite the name, we're not burning this on a disk. We're burning this on a USB, which we discussed later. So, the next thing you're going to need is to install Balena Etcher. Probably asking, what is Balena Etcher? Well, Balena Etcher is what we're going to be using for the process of installing Linux. And it flashes it onto a USB and loads the installation media onto the USB. That way you can install it on whatever device you want, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. So let's get started. So, for this next part of the tutorial, we're going to go to etcher.balena.io. I will also be putting the links in the description. Click the download. Now, depending on what operating system you're on, it will be different, but we are on Windows, so we're going to click on Windows. Now it is installed. It should only take about a second or two to install. It's only 191 megabytes, so Yeah, Belina Etcher is opening. I thought I had an issue installing, but here it is. So, when you go in here, you're going to see Flash from File and select Target. Now, what we have to do is we got to go plug our USB into our device so that it picks it up as a target. So, I'm going to go do that real quick, and once I'm done, I will give you more instruction in the tutorial. I'm now back, and as you can see, we can see our USB drive in here, but this needs to be formatted, because this USB drive specifically has Windows installed on it. And obviously, for this tutorial, we don't want Windows. So, it should automatically detect your USB drive. It will warn you if you accidentally select the wrong drive, which is a good safety measure, and it's good to keep that in mind. So, Flash from File. Go to Downloads or wherever you guys kept the ISO. Open the ISO file and click Flash. Sometimes it might have a little bit of a trouble detecting your USB, so we can use a good program for this called Mini Tool Partition Wizard. If you guys can't get your USB working like mine, all you're gonna do is go install Mini Tool Partition Wizard, like so. Open the file. Click yes. Click OK. I click continue installing free edition. Unclick on Shadow Maker and click on the partition wizard. Now, and the reason why we're installing this program is because unlike the Windows Partition Manager, this one is a lot more flexible and easier to use. And it can avoid some of the issues that the Windows one has. So let's see. So as you can see, well, there's some ads, of course, but let's close at that. You take your drive. You delete all of your partitions on the drive if you have multiple partitions before you format it. This is important because if you install Linux on USB before you delete all the partitions, it could try to install on one of the partitions on the USB instead of on the full size of the USB, which is definitely not a good thing to do. Now that we got all the partitions deleted, it should be good to go. So we're going to click Flash. What the heck is going on with my USB? My USB is tweaking out. Hold on. My USB is going weird. Fine. Oh yeah, I should probably assign a volume to it. Also guys, I would highly advise that you actually format this because Windows is not going to detect it unless you format it. So we're just going to click create and just label this whatever you want and click apply. In some cases, it does detect it before you format it, but sometimes Windows especially can be pretty finicky. Apply the changes. Now it found the drive. And whenever Belina Etcher doesn't work, which for me, I don't know why, but Belina Etcher has been causing me a lot of issues lately. I would highly recommend Belina Etcher if you can get it to work because it's a lot faster. But if you can't get that to work, then go to rufus.ie and install Rufus. Rufus works the same as Belina Etcher, but it takes a little bit longer to get everything working. So, we're just going to use Rufus in our case. So we're going to click on the desktop ISO, and we're going to click Start. Right in ISO disk image mode, and then click OK. And all the data on the USB will be destroyed, and it will be rewritten as something else. Then you should see copying ISO files. It's going through the boot files, and it's getting everything installed. I will be back when it's installed. Alright guys, so my installation just finished. It finished at 11 minutes and 28 seconds. So longer than this video actually took to make so far. So if you're still watching, I just want to say thank you. But once your drive is done, you're going to close out Rufus or Belina Etcher, depending on the one you were able to get working right. You see the Ubuntu drive here. All these boot files are in here. This means that what you did worked and you have the boot files. The next step now is to unplug the USB and plug it into another device that you want to install Ubuntu on, or install it on the device that you were already on. So let's run you through this. Alright, so now we are on the laptop, and the next step we have to do is plug our USB into our port here. My left port is usually better, so I'm just gonna plug it in my left port. That could depend on what laptop you guys have. So, next up, you're going to click the Windows icon, click on the power. Hold on, let me wait for my camera first. Click the power, click restart. Depending on what laptop you have, this may be different. But once we restart this, we are going to click either F9, F12, escape, or delete key, depending on what laptop you have. If you have an Acer, an HP and EliteBook like mine, you're gonna click on your F9 key, and it's gonna open up your boot menu after you've restarted your computer. So you're just gonna mash that F9 key or F12 escape or delete key. And once you've done this, after it restarts, you just gotta wait. Okay, here we go. It's awake. So we click F9. It says entering boot menu. Do not freak out. It's gonna make a little beep. Okay? This is gonna look like a scary menu. But what you're gonna do is select your option. For me, it's Kingston Data Traveler. Then, oh my gosh. You're gonna see options. I'm not sure if you guys can see very good because my camera is not cooperating very well. But you're gonna see a little list that basically says, oh, here we go. Try or install Ubuntu safe graphics, boot from next volume, and UEFI firmware settings. You're gonna click on the first one. So I just clicked on the first one with my enter key. Now we are loading in. And boom, you should see the Ubuntu logo spin to life. And this is only going to take a little minute. Now, as you can see, we've just finished past that part, and we are now in this screen. So this is what Ubuntu looks like. It looks like a pretty nice operating system, as you can see. We're greeted with a welcome to Ubuntu message. We're greeted with a preparing Ubuntu, welcome to Ubuntu message. We're just going to have to wait patiently, and this should continue. So we're going to click, I got to connect to my internet in order for this to work. So you're going to, it's a good idea to connect to your internet. because obviously if not, you can't continue with the install. So once you typed in your internet password and you've ensured that you selected the right internet, this installer should continue. And it should only take about a minute or so for this to run. There we go. We are now in. So what you gotta do next is click your language. You gotta choose multiple or just one. So we're just gonna choose English for this tutorial, because that's my language. Accessibility, you can set up accessibility options, but we are just gonna skip through this. Let's say English US. Yes, connect to Wi-Fi network. Install Ubuntu. Um, so we'll just click interactive installation because that might be easier for you guys. We're just gonna get just the essentials. We're gonna click next. We are going to install this stuff, yes. Drivers and stuff. If you don't click install third-party software and download and install support for additional media formats, you guys may have to set up that stuff manually after. There's an option to install Ubuntu alongside Windows Boot Manager, which if you don't know what this means that you can boot two operating systems on one device and you can choose which one you want to boot when starting your computer. But right now we're going to say erase hard disk and install Ubuntu. And we're going to click OK. It's going to create a name, right? Just do it random. Doesn't matter. Now Ubuntu is very strict with password protocols. So you're going to have a strict password. So you're going to type in your complex password. You can choose require your password and login or use Active Directory. We're just going to say require on login because that's standard for Windows too. And Ubuntu is really good at doing this. As you can see, it picked up my location right away. Newfoundland, specifically St. John's time. So if you guys probably won't have to configure your time zone if you are using a public IP. You're going to click install. Boom, it's now installing the software. And guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. Depending on what system you have, the longer the installation could take. Mine's been taking a while so far, and I'm just waiting for it to end. Alright guys, my installation is now done. All you gotta do now is you're gonna see this crown. It's gonna say Ubuntu 24.0.4 LTS is installed and ready to use. Restart to complete the installation or continue testing. Any changes you make will not be saved. Click on the restart icon. Now you got to remove the installation media, which is the USB flash drive you inserted. Click enter. It's going to run a little command. And now boom, you have Linux installed on your laptop or desktop. We're just going to wait to boot into the OS so you guys can see. Ubuntu. And when you boot in, you should see your what's it called? Your password that you gotta type in that we set up earlier. And then you'll be good to go. So as you can see here, I see my user. You click my user, and we just put in our password. So we're gonna type this in. And then boom, you are now into Ubuntu. And if you guys want another tutorial on how to install apps on Ubuntu via the command line, let me know. And guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. But that's it. You got Linux installed and ready to go. If you want to follow up a video customizing your desktop or installing apps, just like I said earlier, then let me know. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like,